Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We are here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It's the launch of the Undisputed game. Todd, this feels like it's been in the works for a hell of a long time, and I know you've been working incredibly hard on it, so how pleased are you that we've finally got a release date on all major consoles?
Hell of a long time. It's almost been like an engagement to your girlfriend for 4 years, and now the wedding has finally arrived. So it's been a rewarding process. It's required a lot of patience, a lot of hard work, but in the end, I think the final product is going to be off the charts good.
So your role within this company has been kind of chief scout, really, and trying to sign fighters. I can imagine with how boxing politics is, it has been rather difficult.
It was difficult. Some people were so excited to be in the game, they were like, give me the contract. Yeah. And there were others who were like, how much are you going to give me? How much are you going to pay me? And I was like, just like a fight, you don't get paid till the fight happens. Wait till the game comes out. And the fighters that understood that and wanted to be part of history and realized there hasn't been a boxing game in over a decade, they joined in droves. And there's some fighters that, unfortunately aren't with the game yet. But in the end, I think anyone and everyone's going to be a part of it. And it's very exciting. But, hey, I like to say I've personally signed over 200 fighters, so I'm a bigger promoter and manager than Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren combined. You're looking at him, baby.
Excellent. Yeah. So the roster is huge, as over 200. But you said you do think that there'll be more, and when the game comes out, every fighter will want to be part of this. Well,
absolutely. I mean, after last night where we launched the trailer, I'm getting DMs. Hey, why am I not in? Why don't I? So everyone wants to be in the game, and we're doing our best to get as many in there as possible. I think we're going to have well over 80 when the game launches, and then every few weeks we'll be putting in new fighters as part of DLC packages. So, the biggest and best boxers and the new up-and-coming fighters are getting in there as well. We can always update it, so that's the good thing. It's not like when, me and you were growing up. How old are you, Joe?
I'm only 20. So.
Oh, he's 20 years old, Mike. Good for you. You're doing great with your career. When I was 20, I was still in college working at a golf course, but when I grew up, you could only buy the hard game at GameStop or Blockbuster or whatever, and you could never be updated. You'd have to wait for the next version 2 or 3 years later. But now you can literally evolve the game every week if you want to.
At what point did you think, wow, we are seriously getting somewhere, and what fighter was it where you think the tide's changing here, this is going to be big?
Well, when Ash reached out to me about helping him out a little bit, I was like, you gotta. Boxers get approached every day with opportunities. Some are real, some are not. So I said, you got to make something real. So I decided, let's do these like fighter announcement shows where we announce the fighters that have been signed in the game. I said, and then when other fighters see that, then they'll sign on. So I was able to get Terrence Crawford to sign, and he was my first big signing. And once we announced him and showed him, then all of a sudden Lomachenko was a little bit interested in this person, and then it just kind of piled up and piled up and piled up. So to me, Terrence Crawford was the first guy that you could really sink your teeth into.
Yeah, so look, round us we got Canelo, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, who's here today, incredibly, Lomachenko. Is there anybody that isn't out there who's kind of top of your wish list, if you can say that?
Well, Evander Holyfield's my guy, and I think we're still going to get him in. But, there were some fighters, and let's be honest, they're used to getting big checks. They're like, hey, I don't do anything. They've been burned in boxing so many times over the years, and they didn't believe this was real. So to be fair, some of those fighters thought, look, once the game comes out and I see that it's real and I see that it's going to happen, then I'll join. So I'm hoping we get Evander one day. I'm sure we will.
Surely that's got to be credit to the model, because as you say, you haven't got Evander yet, but you've got the likes of Canelo, who's probably bombarded with about 50 offers like this a day, and this one's materialised.
Yeah, there's been other there was some fighters who are like, no, a guy called me last week about another video game. So, you've seen there's boxing games out there, they just don't have the licenses. So we were able to get these guys, and that's really what separated us, at least early on, from everyone else. And then once we got those names, they were able to get investors to make the game itself better. So it all just kind of grew together, and it's worked out.
Yeah, look, the last kind of big fight game, I think, was EA Sports Fight Night Champions. That was a long time ago. I think gaming as a whole has evolved so much since then. But with that roster, it's going to be a different level, isn't it?
I think it is. I mean, and the good thing is we've got I mean, one of the fighters I'm most looking forward to being in the game is Jack Johnson, the first ever black heavyweight champion. I mean, we've got some guys from the early 1900s all the way up until today. So some of those older fighters like Sugar Ray Robinson, he's already in the game. He looks amazing. Sugar Ray Leonard, those are the guys that I really like playing with, especially the fantasy matchups. Canelo Alvarez versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Can you imagine if that really happened? And it can happen in the game.
Excellent. Just finally, Todd, I've got to ask you while we're out here, are you allowed to give a prediction for tomorrow night? I know you're working, but...
Yeah, I'm working. I'm supposed to be neutral, but, Alexander Usyk is here today, so I'm going to go with Usyk, right? He might come and clip me. But I think it's going to be a great fight. If Fury is changed his style where he turned into like a killer. He's knocking people out. And I think if he goes with that, I think he'll do better. If he decides to make it a boxing contest and float around, kind of like he did with Ngannou. First round, Fury came out like gangbusters, didn't get the knockout, and then tried to box, and he just seemed lost. So I think if Fury can it's almost like a golf swing. If you're standing over the ball and you think about, don't move my hips, don't do this, you're going to screw up. I think if Fury just goes in there and just does what he does and just reacts, I think he's going to do much better than if he decides to outbox Usyk.
Excellent, Todd. Thank you very much for speaking to IFLTV, and hopefully speak to you again soon. Thank you very much.
Yeah.